Yeah, so I'm going to get a good run to submit, one that I'm happy with. The execution with normal strat. PSR Marathon Draft, close enough. Okay, so this is Madden NFL 2003, the hot new speed game. So, the rules for this category are you have to use 2 default teams, and you have to use their default rosters. You can turn injuries and penalties off for the any percent no penalties, and you have to win a game as fast as possible. So with no penalties off, it just takes out the RNG by getting fast onside kick. That was literally perfect. So the reason I picked the Falcons, any team works in theory, but Michael Vick is good because he's fast. He can run around a lot. So he can run a lot of time out by just doing weird stuff. And like he can run QB runs easily. It's like for the same reason you would pick the Falcons in anything. Last season 2-14-0, typical Lions. Exactly. I think this is Vic's second year in the league or something. So I'm going to not run another play here, which is a bit of a risk. I do need 5 yards on the next play. One of the things that comes into play with doing this is you have to keep the defense calling as few timeouts as possible. In the current route, 1 timeout is used by the defense, which is basically as good as possible. There's a way to do it in 0, and that's what these splits are, but like it's not marathon safe at all. It could be marathon safe, but you just can't control what the defense does, like what plays they run. And sometimes you can get plays that don't work out, like blitz patterns where they send a lot of guys. So I need yards. Okay. That's kind of risky. You really don't want to dive ever. Because if you dive down, then you have a chance of fumbling, whereas if you slide, you can't fumble. So that was a risk, but I needed the yards. It's the same button, which kind of sucks. So sometimes, if you're sprinting or still at enough speed, you'll do a dive instead of a slide. I picked the Lions as defense because they play in a dome. You can pick any dome team, you can really pick any team, but it just takes away RNG because you could start the game and have 20-mile-an-hour wind in your face, and that doesn't work too well. So just like first quarter, we're going to just run out the clock, and in the third quarter, we're going to try to score. Or in the second half, we're going to try to score. The first 2 quarters are straightforward. You get the onside kick, you run out clock. And then the fun begins in the second half, basically.
Hansen is just about ready to kick this one away. He sends it off.
So in the second half, I have to get into field goal range. So like I can honestly return the kickoff all the way, but it's better not to, and to try to gain yards normally. As you'll see. So just as in the first half, I'm going to do mostly QB runs, because they're easy to pick up yards on, and they're kind of easy to manipulate and do what you want with, because you have all the time in the world. But I need to get into field goal range, which is about the 30-yard line. So I will be running more plays in the second half, just to try to get in good position for the fourth quarter. So the defense is going to start calling timeouts. If you have the lead here, they'll call timeouts at the start of the third quarter. Because 2 minute halves. There's less than 2 minutes left in the game, so they want to call a timeout to try to limit what's going on. It's actually a different play than I wanted.
He's looking to pass. Surveying the field.
I don't like running up the middle of coverage. So that's pretty good. That's going to run out the half, just barely. Or run out the quarter. Alright, I screwed up there. I picked the wrong play. I had to audible out of it. So might lose a little bit of time. So there's going to be one major important play, and I'm going to make it happen on the next play.
usually in this situation,
So what needs to happen here is I have to get in field goal range with basically exactly 4 or 5 seconds left on the clock and go down. Because for some reason the defense decides to call a timeout to try to get the ball back if you get in field goal range in the 4th quarter. So they're going to call a timeout, which you would call it anyway. So I need this play to last until 4 seconds, and I need to go down at the 30. So pretty precise. A lot of things need to happen. And that's exactly what I want. So now they call their timeout. I go to kick my field goal. We're not going to beat these splits because these splits use a different route that is not marathon safe. And then we just kick the field goal and hopefully make it.
And it's on its way.
And time is going to run out right before it goes to the uprights. And that is a 5:49, which is about the best possible time you can get with this route. That's a really good time, actually. Marathon estimate will probably be like 10, only because why make it so short? And there could be setup stuff. So some bad things that can happen. You can fumble. You can miss the onside kick, which is still possible even with no penalties. And then, like, if the other team gets the ball at any point, you just lose a ton of time because they're indecisive on stuff. Yeah, so that's basically Madden, and that's my submission video for AGDQ, Kappa. So, can you explain to us why to use Michael Vick again? Well, you see, he's fast, and he plays for the Steelers now. Steelers are cool, right? I hate the Steelers, by the way.